Why? Why are European players able to thrive in specific roles in the modern NBA? What does the old continent have to offer when it comes to developing their talents? Since the exodus of players from Europe that occurred in the NBA during the 1990s, there have been a multitude of legends who have crossed the pond to try their luck in the best league in the world. While some got what they wanted, much more lucrative contracts that would assure them a better future, others failed. But why specifically are the point forwards having a much greater degree of success? The list is already too long. Yeah, now Luka Doncic is dominating the league, being a player that could be considered as such. But before him, players like Detlef Schrempf, Toni Kukoc, or Giannis Antetokounmpo built the foundation for this to be the case. And it looks like the next in line, Franz Wagner, is exploding into his full potential. In a season where the Orlando Magic have needed him, he's proven to be a borderline all-NBA talent. So how's this possible for Franz at just 23 years old? Well, to understand, we have to start at the beginning. Imagine betting your entire future on a single hand, on a single card. Franz Wagner, a German kid born in the summer of 2001, made this decision. Just a few weeks before Michael Jordan's last comeback, the Wagner family was blessed with the birth of their second son. Alba Berlin, the most important club in the German capital, soon realized how talented the Wagner kids were. Not only did they have the qualities of elite players who would outgrow the Bundesliga, the German professional basketball league, but they were also blessed with incredible genetics. Both brothers would grow to nearly 7 feet tall, and although they had different skill sets, they were both able to make a difference from the start. However, they did make a strange decision. We've seen it with a multitude of European players, from Tony Parker to Ricky Rubio to Luka Doncic. It's normal for these players to develop in Europe, and after succeeding as professionals, they head to the NBA. All of these players came to the draft after their success in the tough European leagues. However, times have changed. The extreme professionalization of European basketball has led to a much higher average level, and young players are finding it more and more difficult to find opportunities in elite leagues. For that reason, the Wagners decided to head to the US to complete their last phase of development. In 2019, Franz Wagner committed to the same college his brother committed to 2 years earlier. And that's the story of how a European player who had debuted in the European first tier became the new player of the Michigan Wolverines. There he was not only able to rely on his previous experience in professional basketball, he also demonstrated his ability to adapt to North American basketball by being key to the Wolverines' record of 23 wins and 5 losses. And this performance was a surprise to even the professional scouts. 24/7 Sports ranked Franz 43rd in their list of top prospects in the class prior to his freshman year. And that was in stark contrast to the opinion of NBA GMs. Why? Because with the 8th pick in the 2021 draft, the Orlando Magic drafted Franz Wagner. And they put all of their faith in this 6'10 unicorn who was capable of playing on the perimeter, a shooting guard trapped in a power forward frame. From the beginning of his career, the German showed what he was capable of. He finished 5th in the Rookie of the Year race, averaging over 15 points per night with good efficiency. And since then, Franz improved each and every one of his 3 years in the NBA, to the point that last summer, after averaging nearly 20 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists per night with a good 58 true shooting percentage, he was rewarded with an extension worth a max contract by the Orlando Magic. There are a lot of players that drop in performance when they get the bag. In the end, nothing they do is going to affect their salary in the short term. But far from it, Franz has exploded this season. Not just in scoring, where he's averaging a career high of 24.4 points per night, and not just in hustle, where he's averaging a career high 5.6 rebounds, but also in playmaking, where he's nearly doubled his averages and assists from his career high. Franz has learned how to take responsibility and the offensive load like a true star in the league, something even more important to a team than his improved averages. The Magic's game against the Lakers in mid-November was the perfect example. Franz had 37 points, 6 rebounds, 11 assists, and 4 steals. But what's even more incredible, he scored 15 of those points in the last quarter in a game they won by only 1 point. And yeah, if you remember, he scored the game winner that gave Orlando the victory.
Looking for help, shot clock down to 5. He's gonna go for the win, shot is up and he got it!
Paolo Banchero's early injury allowed us to see what would be an experiment with Franz as the first offensive option of a team. Now, if there was one thing we've realized, yeah, he's ready to take on that role. In the 20 games Franz had played since Paolo Banchero's injury, his averages were 26.1 points, 6 rebounds, 6.3 assists, and 1.8 steals per game. His shooting splits were 56, 31, and 88. And most important, the Orlando Magic, without one of the best players in the entire conference, without a player with the potential to become a future MVP, won 13 games and lost only 7. Franz Wagner wasn't just keeping them afloat without their best player. He was keeping the Magic as one of the best teams in the NBA with him at the helm. However, it seems Orlando's used up their luck selecting studs in the last few drafts, because in early December, Franz suffered a right oblique injury that would keep him out indefinitely. Since that happened, the Magic have played 13 games, and they've won only 6. In some ways, the team suffered more after the German's injury than after Banchero's injury. Pretty incredible considering that Paolo's always been the player called upon to lead this team into the future, right? At only 23 years old, Franz seems to have found his formula for success. Because yes, it's normal to see a potential young superstar putting up big numbers in the modern game. It's normal to see a kid take over the offensive responsibility for a franchise while being much younger than the average NBA player. But it's not normal to see him win in the process. When a young star is able to win games on a regular basis and turn a team into a winning roster, there's reason to be extremely optimistic. Because what's really scary is what'll happen when both Banchero and this new version of Franz Wagner returns to the court. Just imagine the offensive power with Franz, Paolo, and Jalen Suggs all having a breakout year. The Orlando Magic had already improved to 5th in the Eastern Conference last season with a 48-34 record. However, in the first round, they were eliminated by the Cavaliers in 7 games, something completely normal in the learning process that teams usually go through during their evolution. They still have a very young roster, and even more importantly, their entire core is still very young. They've already experienced the stepping stone that's a short taste of the playoffs. They already know how to prepare for a series, and they found a second offensive option that will allow them to become a contender as soon as health permits. Franz is destined for greatness. His understanding of the game has become elite, and his evolution as a playmaker also hints that he's going to become a top-level all-around star, something that his European upbringing has certainly affected. We're used to players coming from this background being super talented passers. Regardless of position, they understand the game differently. They're able to predict the defense, and on many occasions, they see a layer that other players aren't able to see. When you combine this IQ with elite athleticism and elite overall talent, the result is a luxury-winning cocktail. But is this going to be the case of the new Jaylen Brown? Is Franz going to become a star in the shadow of an even bigger superstar? Well, that's not a current problem. That's a question we'll have to ask ourselves if the Magic become a true powerhouse in the East. Something that, given the current progression, wouldn't be out of the question in the foreseeable future. Time will tell who leads this generation of the Orlando Magic, but Franz has certainly proved that he has what it takes to lead an NBA team.